asked for my hustle. I gave you my heart because it came with so much more. But I can't love you obsessively for much longer. My heart can take the pounding. My mind can handle the grind. But my body knows it's time to say goodbye, and that's okay. I'm ready to let you go. And we both know, no matter what I do next, I'll always be that kid with the rolled up socks, garbage can in the corner, 5 seconds on the clock, ball in my hands. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Love you always, Kobe.
Welcome to Not Near Mint. This is a show about comic books, and we're coming to you live. I'm coming from Miami, Florida, the very bowels of downtown. Well, not quite. Quite a lot bit further south. But here we are. And this week we have a special show for you. That show is How to Start a Comic Book Collection on Day One. The music you've been listening to is Pete Tong, the Kobe Bryant remix. Now, we're going to get on to the show. The music of the day is nice and all, but we also like to take a look and see what comic books we have in store. You'll notice that I have a new setup over here. That's the second camera. So I'm going to jump on over and see that Miracleman is back this week, everybody. Give him a round of applause. So welcome, Miracleman. How about we start with you and ask the question of what comic books did you get this week?
Well, I haven't been here for a couple of weeks, so I got a big old pile of back issues, but I'll start off with the new books real quick and zip right on through those. First up, John Layman's The Man Who Effed Up Time from Aftershock. Anytime you get a chance to read a Layman book, boy, you got to grab it up because John Layman did Chew, probably one of the wonkiest comics of the decade, and I'm looking forward to this one right here. Our nice controversial Captain America: The End. Everybody caught why this one's controversial, right? So hopefully they'll correct that in future printings. I'm not even going to say. I'm going to let you all find that out. Star Wars Darth Vader #1. Darth Vader comic, man. How can you not read it? Every series has been fantastic. And I missed the last 2 weeks. I don't know how long it's been, but I know we haven't talked since I've read Justice League 39. And I have since read Justice League 39 and somehow convinced myself to buy Justice League 40.
Well, it's almost over.
39 was the end of Snyder's run. This is Venditti.
Wait, really? Wait,
yeah.
He ended it at 39? So I haven't read 39 yet.
You might have.
And it is kind of that forgettable. I hate to say it. And hi, Leo Marquez. And hey, everybody in the chat room. Thank you for joining us this week. Go ahead.
It was to say it was a forgettable ending. It wasn't an ending. So it's not that it was forgettable necessarily. It's just it didn't happen. That was a nice how do you do. Next up, I got my Femme Force number 188 here. This is just good, clean fun, kids. Pay no attention to all the women in the bikinis. It's a good comic.
Is that Dan Stevens?
Say again?
Is that Dan Stevens?
No, this one is not. I did get some Stevens, but this is not. This is Coyle and Black. Bill Black is the publisher of AC Comics. He has a long history of using public domain characters. This is the Golden Age Ms. Victory. Believe it or not, this is the Golden Age Phantom Lady right there.
Yes, you were telling me about that a few weeks ago. This is a Matt Baker sort of person that I've been wanting to get into Phantom Lady, but it's just way too expensive.
That original stuff is really tough. There is a Verotic. I think I told you there is a Verotic published book, which I believe you can still buy brand new off of the Verotic website. Because Glenn Danzig is probably sitting on 10,000 of those suckers. But I'm pretty sure you can buy it still at cover price of $10, which was overpriced in '96 when it came out, but is reasonable today. Next up, Young Justice number 13 here. I love Young Justice, man. When we lost Young Justice with New 52, that was one of the biggest gut punches to me. If you're a DC fan, Young Justice is a series that is really kind of the glue of DC. It was the newest generation of heroes. You had your JSA, which was the old guard, the Justice League, which was the grown-up superhero team, and the Teen Titans, which was the up-and-comers. And then you had Young Justice, which was all the kids that were just learning and starting out. And fantastic series, fantastic relationship between these heroes. Utterly lost with New 52, and we're finally getting it back. And all I got to say is thank you, Mr. Bendis.
Oh, also, Mike Grell's on that issue.
Yes, because there's Warlord has been added into this story arc.
Yep.
Which is, anytime you have Skartaris in anything, buy it. And now...
I have a question from Gray Man. Did Femforce have Kitty and Catman?
So, yes. Real quick version of the story. This was issue 188 here. Now, the first 110 are actually really easy to find. After 110, they go to a quarterly and become $10 an issue for a black and white.
Oh, I remember that.
So those become much more difficult to find. But around issue 19, in the Femforce universe, they release the Vault of Heroes. And the Vault of Heroes, if you read Project Superpowers a few years ago, this is I don't think they stole the idea, but it's real similar. The Vault of Heroes was essentially the explanation as to what happened to all these public domain superheroes that disappeared after the Golden Age. Catman and Kitty were chief amongst those, but there was a whole litany and gigantic list of Holyoke, Nedor, and Standard superheroes that have been in the public domain for decades that were released from this vault, many of which joined the Femforce if they were female characters. Many of the male characters have gone on to other things, but the AC comic universe is very female-centric. Their main heroes are all women. But yes, Catman and Kitty were definitely involved. Hey, listen, these you quite often you'll find Femforce books, the older books in the cheap bins. They are absolutely worth a read. If you like Golden Age heroes, if you like the public domain superheroes, I'm a big fan. The whole series is just a ton of fun. Yeah, there's a lot of cheesecake, which I don't complain about certainly, but beyond the cheesecake, there's some fun stories. And I highly recommend them. If you find an AC book, it's worth a read if you're into superheroes, because it is just good old-fashioned superhero fun. Next up, we're going to do, of course, Batman. I haven't given up Batman with Tinian's taken over. I did read the issue 87. It was really good.
It's a cool cover, too, man.
It is. It is. Anytime that's League of Assassins right there.
Yeah, dude, and look, fucking Wonder Woman's in the back getting ready to Donkey Kong onto him.
No, I think that's actually...
I can't see very closely.
I think that's actually Jade.
Sorry. I'm a little close. I'm sorry.
But that's okay. She is a female warrior woman in DC. So you know what? You're close enough.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm not a DC warrior.
And there you go. There you go.
Money Shot.
Money Shot number 4. Man, this book is fantastic. Tim Seeley's writing it. It's about a group of scientists who a few years into the future, all their funding has been cut. And after they find out that they're not alone in the universe, aliens have visited Earth, have presented themselves. And after a few short years, the aliens went, this human race, they suck.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here and never come back.
Yeah.
We could have told you that much.
Right? They could have saved them some faster than light travel, that's for sure. But yeah, so what do the scientists do? They get together, they invent a spaceship. And because they lack the funding to shoot the spaceship up into space, they decide the way they're going to fund it is by having crazy, freaky, live internet sex with aliens.
Oh, my shit.
Yes, so this is what you have for your future, Lady Fantastic. You will be doing freaky deaky sex for funding.
Do the scientists have to fuck the aliens?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. It's interesting.
Volunteers.
Everybody is on board. I'll say that in this book. Everybody is on board.
And the aliens want to?
Oh yeah. The aliens definitely want to. In fact, right now they're dealing with an alien society that has their mystic, who has the ability to power their spaceship, locked up. And when they go to find the mystic, they find out the reason that he's locked up is because they don't want him to propagate his bloodline. And he has giant 50-pound gonads dangling off of the bottom of him.
Gross. Why don't they want him to propagate?
It's quite a complex story, but the short version is basically they'd rather have their genes take over the society.
Shit, I need to read this. This sounds freaky deaky. I want to read it.
This book is weird, man. You anybody who likes weird comics, I'll tell you what, it's really well written. It's a really different concept. I've loved every issue so far. You know, it doesn't get very explicit. It's always afterwards, or the blankets in the way, but it's still good stuff. Last of the new stuff for this week, Copra number 5. Listen, if you liked Ostrander's Suicide Squad, if you're not reading Copra, you are missing out.
I need to pick up issues 2 through 5.
Copra is essentially, here's how I see Copra. It is an alternate Earth Ostrander Suicide Squad. Michel Fiffe, he made these books. There's, I think, 5 trades out already. He published them himself. He drew them himself. He wrote them himself. He printed them himself under his banner Bergen Street Books. Went to Image. Image has reprinted the trades, and they're putting out the ongoing now. The only downside is, you can really, really tell who everybody is just by looking at them. But it would help in my mind if he gave people a little catch up in the modern run here, the current run. And he's not. He's just going forward like it's, like you read the last 5 trades.
Which is really difficult to find in and of itself in those original issues, all the way up until, what was the last one printed, like a 19 or a 30? They're really difficult to come by. You had to order those directly from Michael Fife.
Right.
He's the local down here.
Through his Etsy. So you want to talk about a very under-distributed series of books. I mean, individual issues are like $50-$60. They're next to impossible. Pick up the Image trades. Forget the end of it. Don't even hunt them. Get the trades. Buy the new book. That'll get you caught up, and you'll be able to enjoy it without selling a kidney. But I highly recommend it. They're fantastic. So that's it for the new stuff. And I got so many old books since I saw you last. I'm gonna just rip right through them really fast.
Okay.
Rip through them, but don't rip it like Nancy Pelosi.
Definitely not my comics. So in the last 2 weeks, I've been banging away on my Moon Knight run here, trying to get it finished off. So volume 1, there's issue 5, issue 7, issue 10. And if you notice something, these covers, issue 11, keep getting better. Issue 13, issue 19, and here we go.
Ooh.
Big Bill Sinkovich,
Oh my god.
number 28 there.
I know that issue, dude.
Number 33 there.
Yep.
Number 36 there.
Mm-hmm. That's not Bill S. though.
No, that's I don't know who that is.
Really, it's not.
No, it's definitely not. And then here's issue 37. So at this point, my Moon Knight run, I think I'm missing about 12 issues.
Do you have a 38?
I do.
Oh,
I do have a 38. I have the last. I think I have the last 8 issues. 30 on. I have. I just had those already. And then, inspired by you, Lady Fantastic.
Oh shit.
There's Ultimate Moon Knight's first appearance.
Yep.
Ultimate Spider-Man 79. Here he is on the cover for the first time. Ultimate Spider-Man number 80.
Yeah.
Here he is turning into Ronin in Ultimate Spider-Man 108.
Nice.
That's not healthy.
That's and then, so I got a ton of stuff, but I'm going to show you the 2 that I am most pleased with. The Cat number 3.
Damn.
Issue 3. That's
Issue 3. It's pretty, isn't it?
Yeah, I always see issue 1. I never see past issue 1.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. I think, 8 issues of this whole run? Or was it even less? I think it might have been only 4. Yeah, it was only 4 issues.
About the only thing I can remember that comes anywhere near close to having such a short run is like, I don't know, Man-Bat.
Yeah, I think that was 2. I think that was 2 issues.
Couldn't get past that.
And I have number 1.
I got number 2. So yeah, I picked that up at the LCS. That was only $3, man.
Are you kidding me?
Nope, $3. I was like, "Are you sure, buddy?" He was like, "Yeah, man. You have no idea what I got that for." So I got a good deal there. And here she is. Super proud of this bad boy right here. Mighty Crusaders. Sorry, go ahead.
That looks pretty high grade.
It is. Mighty Crusaders number 4. This is all the Archie superheroes. And the ones you don't see on the cover are in the pages of the comic. This was the Silver Age relaunch. They pulled a lot of their characters out of the Golden Age that they hadn't touched in decades. It's a campy, it's supposed to be campy, but it's over the top campy. I think this series only ran 7 issues itself. But here's a Joe Simon created the Shield there. He's definitely one of my favorite of the Archie heroes. But they're all fantastic. They're weird. They got weird powers. They had 3 fire-breathing superheroes and a bunch of magicians. And I mean, look at this guy's head helmet. I mean, clearly, Jack didn't design this, but you would think he did. So got that off the bay for only $5 measly.
Damn.
Well done.
Yeah, really good one there. And then the rest of the haul is primarily, some common stock. I got a nice little pile of Max books here. Show you a couple of the other ones. There's a Vampirella from the Harris run. I actually got another Vampirella that I really loved. There you go, Vampirella 0.
Yeah.
Gorgeous cover. This one right here, this is the Dave Stevens cover I got this week.
Let's see.
I see a Dave Stevens, it's coming home with me every single time.
Oh.
So pretty benign for Dave Stevens.
I never would have thought that's Dave Stevens.
Yep. There's a signature right down there in the corner. Not that
the anchor.
I think this was probably one of his last covers. I mean, this was DV8 for Image. This is a Warren Ellis book. It's not that old, but I mean, for Stevens, I don't think he did much work after that.
It was pretty much right around the same time Alan Moore was even working for Image Comics.
Yeah, he was doing the Wildstorm stuff right in that area there. Then I got a couple of real nice detectives in the 500s there.
Oh man.
548.
Yeah.
That's right before the Alan Moore written Green Arrow backup story.
Oh yeah, I have those.
Yeah, I have those. Here's 568 from the Legends crossover. And then 586, second appearance of the Ratcatcher.
Soon to be in Suicide Squad too.
Yep.
Miss my Ratcatcher.
I can't wait to watch that Pete guy get killed. We know he's going to get killed in Suicide Squad. I can't wait to watch Pete die.
Who's Pete?
He's the SNL comedian who's going to be in Suicide Squad. I forget who he's playing.
Oh, Davidson. Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson, yeah.
Davidson, yeah. And it's not that I dislike the guy. I just think he's going to die really cool. And I'm looking forward to that.
He asked for it.
I'm sure he did. First issue of Supergirl there. Third issue of Supergirl there. Nice little pile of Brave and the Bolds here.
That's a cool one.
That's cool. There's a Spectre one.
Oh, you're right.
And then, I can't believe I missed this. Here, I got a Moon Knight number 4. So that's now I got the first 7.
You're holding out on us.
I know.
And then this is the last one. I got another pile here, but I'm going to let you guys go. This is the last one I'm going to show you. Brave and the Bold 197.
Damn, nice.
Let me tell you about 197 here.
Scarecrow.
So Scarecrow, yes. Batman, yes. Catwoman, yes. But which Batman, Catwoman, and Scarecrow?
Earth 3?
2.
2.
It is Earth 2. It is Earth 2. Because on Earth 2, Batman, as I know you two know, married Catwoman.
Yes.
And
produced a child that became
Huntress.
Yes.
Now, here's why this issue is a big deal. Total sleeper. Most people don't have any clue about it. Not that these characters are driving a lot of interest right now, but this is where Batman and Catwoman reveal their identities to each other.
Oh, now I gotta get that.
The drama.
What issue?
197.
That is now on my list.
Also has a Robin appearance. It has a Batwoman appearance. It has a Batgirl appearance. This is an issue to get, guys. You can get it for a couple of bucks. A Paro cover. You can complain about that. And an Earth 2 Batman story, period. I'll grab them all day long, but this one is really integral to the final story of Earth 2 Batman, leading up to his death. And I was super happy to find it. $1.50.
And we're also getting a question here from Dollar Bin Fodder. Lady Fantastic just chopped out for a minute. There she is. Can anyone confirm if the Captain America The End has a misprint or error? I have not read about it, but I think we all got it. So I guess we can all take a look at it. And
I do know the answer to this. I do know the answer to this question. The answer to this question is it's not a misprint. It is an error. This is what I was saying earlier. So this is Eric Larson, drawn and written. And here's your error, folks. Right here on the last page in the credits section. Can anybody read that bottom line there for us?
Let's take that off. Let's get a little closer. Captain America created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Yep.
That's not correct.
That's super wrong. So, Joe Simon, Jack Kirby, created Captain America. I'm personally hoping somebody in editorial made a mistake. I don't think Stan, even though, not to say anything about Stan, there's some questions as to whether or not he took credit for some things that he didn't do. I don't think Stan would be happy with this.
Probably not, considering he only started writing, and it wasn't even with art. It was some simple written pages, and I think issue number 3 of Captain America.
Right. And Joe Simon, in my opinion, Joe Simon is one of those creators of the golden age that just gets forgotten far too often.
Way too much, especially his artwork. I mean, you can really tell, just like Jack Kirby, you can tell Joe Simon's artwork.
Absolutely. So not technically a misprint, because that's the intent. This is what they intended to put there. But that is inaccurate information, boys and girls.
Nobody caught it. Sometimes that happens. It's kind of like that TMNT 99, where the front cover reads $7.99, back cover reads $3.99. It's just, this is how it always goes out. So no one figured, hey, maybe we should change this.
Right. No, there was no update for that specific part, so they just let it ride. So yeah, a little disappointing there, but hey, what are you going to do? Hopefully, somebody catches on to it and fixes that one in subsequent printings. Yeah. So, I do have some more here, but like I said, I want to let you guys get in there and get going. So please, Lady Fantastic.
We're about 25 minutes in, so let's jump on over to Lady Fantastic and find out what comics did you get.
So, I only got 6 comics today, but I'll show you what they are. The first one is the Immortal Hulk one-shot with great power. So I'm excited to read this. I think
real quick. I noticed that I got the exact same cover, and there was a variant. Out of the both that I could have chose, I chose the same one you did. What did you think? Do you think the regular cover was better than the variant?
Yeah, because this is kind of a nod to, is it issue 72 or something?
Issue 90 of Web of Spider-Man.
Well, is it 90? Okay.
I think so. I just picked it up the other week.
God damn it, Miss Kitty. Yeah, I bet that one. And then I got Fantastic Four and X-Men #1, the variant with Lockheed and Kitty Pryde. And it looks like the seeds of Krakoa have bloomed into flowers. But this is supposed to be where Reed Richards comes to Krakoa. Anyways. And then I got the Gwen Stacy variant of Miles Morales, Miles Morales Spider-Man, #15. Let's see. The Dollar Batman 386, just because I had to for good reading. Yeah, so there you go. And
but that one won't have the Mark Jeweler variant that you got rid of at one of your auctions.
Yeah, and this, just because it cracked me up and I didn't know that it existed, but the Superior AOC, it's like it's a political comic. Like these guys, Keen Spot, they also made this The Donald Who Laughs. So I just like goofy political things. It's just kind of one of the niche things that I collect or whatever. Here, I wanted to show you guys some cool things, and I wanted to tell you some things that I have been focusing on in terms of books. Todd McFarlane. I've got Todd McFarlane's entire run in The Incredible Hulk. You guys need to get those. I think it's issues 330 through 347. A couple of them in there he didn't write, or do art on, but just educate yourself. Okay, these Todd McFarlane's Spider-Mans. I don't have. I want to get the lower ones. Like I would like to get 300 through like 320. Okay, okay, let me show you what I've got.
What's wrong with Eric Larson?
Nothing's wrong with Eric Larson. He's great. So anyways, no, 302. I've got, and also like what, these things are going to just go up in price. 303. And so it's like, these are things. What?
Newsstand.
Yeah.
The last one.
306. This is an Action #1 homage. And let's see, 308 is a nice Taskmaster. Yep. I put these in these new the new sleeves that I got today or whatever. But yeah, this is just great. Todd McFarlane art. It's getting more and more in demand. 310, and there's more are not being made. So if you guys are into it, you're just going to have to pay more. So this is $317. Listen to me. Listen to the words that I'm saying. This is $319. So, sorry. And all right, just really quick. These are just a couple of books that I have that are classic X-Men books, and these are some early Adam Hughes pieces. So classic X-Men 78. This is Adam Hughes, and if you can see that AH, I can't. There we go. And some 79. And so, like, I just think that's cool to have. One, some of his early stuff, and two, Phoenix is like one of my favorite characters. This really badass Marvel 2-in-1 presents number 43, where it's got the Thing and the Man Thing, and they've got the Cosmic Cube. It's crazy. I'm what? Oh.
Kitty.
Do you guys see that?
I hear nothing, but I see dead people.
I hear a repeat.
Nope, I hear nothing. Unless you have YouTube on and you have the sound on, but otherwise I don't hear anything.
Okay, I hear an echo. Well, now I don't. All right, good. Why
I just called it Wednesday.
Okay, this thing I thought was really cool. I found it for $1, but this is Captain Marvel and the Carol Corps, and it's number 1. But it's a custom edition, not for resale. So I'm wondering if that's a retailer's variant or something. I'm not sure.
It could very much be. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I know. I just thought that was really interesting. Not for resale.
What issue was that?
Number 1.
I'm sorry. What was the Captain Marvel and the
Carol Corps? Number 1.
Carol Corps.
Here, shit.
I'll do a little research there.
Help me out, brother. Not for resale. Okay. And then some really cool older Kirby stuff. I found a Forever People, number 8, which I think is awesome. And a Forever People, number 9. Got the Dead Man. I like Dead Man.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Love those Forever People.
I'm going to be needing to work on that run.
And then I was able to get a couple of really beautiful copies of The Demon. So, Sorcery and Death Above Gotham City Streets. So this is I don't know. This is great. It's number 13.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
I just want to scoop up as much stuff as I can of his.
Yep.
It's just a goddamn treasure. I'll have a little museum. And then number 16.
Oh, that's the last issue.
Well, there you have it.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm a big Kirby collector myself, so my Forever People and Demon Run have gotten a lot better in the last couple of years.
Nice.
They were at one point in time actually really kind of tough to come by. They were kind of pricey books, but I've been able to find them, under $10 a pop.
Yeah.
So not too bad.
That's what I found these at for the 50% sale. I picked up those Demons, and they were less than $10 with the 50% off.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share this at the end, because I know, make me big, Rob, make me big. All right. You guys are trying to find these, and you guys were talking about like the prices.
Oh, yeah.
This was from a trade with what's his name? Night Tiger, Mike Night Tiger. So $4.35 Adventure Comics. This is Jim Aparo art, and it's the Spectre, and it's just friggin' beautiful.
Yeah, that's great.
It is.
That is great.
She's a beauty. So, anyways, that's it. That's it. I'm done showing off. But just some books I've acquired. Rob?
Well, I guess now I will show this extra screen. And as I said before, let me know if there is an echo because I'm trying to make sure.
It only happened for a second, and I'm not crazy.
And I have here Life with Two YouTubers. Sharon's telling us the two computer thing does cause issues. We ended up plugging in a mic and muting the other. That's kind of what I did. So let's see how this works, okay? If it works this episode, I'll continue on or I'll fiddle with things. This is a work in progress. We're on episode 24 tonight, everybody. So here we are with the books that I got this week. But before we get to that, I should probably go because everything's in a briefcase. I'm pretty sure everyone always wants to know. We ask it every week. So let's find out exactly what's in the briefcase. Let's take a look, huh? So I'll just pop this open. Because, so much like Pulp Fiction, we always want to know what's in this damn thing, right? So let's take my phone out because that's what's causing all this. Because I'm a little joker over here. And I'll take this nice big stack because I was able to find all the issues I was looking for this week, up to and including the big boy book that no one could find this week. Yes, you see it right there. So put that under the microscope. And again, do let me know in the chat if there is an echo. And there's not much I can do about it this episode. But next episode, I'll try and figure that out. So here we have, and I'm going to just try and fix that a little. All right, so we have I cannot possibly pronounce this, but good luck on that. Agaretsuko. It's an Adult Swim cartoon. It's kind of manga, anime related. It was the last one on the shelf at Tate's Comics. Yes, I went to Tate's Comics to pick up just this issue. So I got it. Haven't read it yet, but I'll get around to it. Next we have, coming up, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It is issue number 12. This is the Scoobies cover variant. And I'm being told here it sounds okay, so I think we're okay. Still waiting to find out how to start my collection. Yeah, we're about 40 minutes in. Sometimes we just stray off and start talking about the comic books, which is exactly how we get to here. So moving on from Scoobies, and right after this, we'll get on to the discussion. We have the Mall issue number 6. It concludes in this storyline, and it will move on to season 2 when it comes back. And we have The Man Who Effed Up Time. I read the first couple pages before going on, and this looks like it's going to be a fun story.
Heck yeah.
By the same creator of Chew. So if you like John Layman on Chew, you'll probably like this. I'm most likely going to put it on a pull list. Marked issue number, I have no idea. I think it's 5. I have the first 5, only read the first issue. It was a lot like The Magicians. And I liked it. It's the Magicians with tattoos. Batman 88, the variant cover of the card stock that's about $1 more, but I don't know. I didn't have any issues of the original, so I just picked that up. Still don't know if I'm going to drop it or not. Tinian, he might stay on or they'll reboot it with another issue 1. Here's Justice League 40, and just as you said, Vendetti. I thought that I was about ready to read the next issue of the Snyder storyline, but maybe I did read.
There is no next issue of the Snyder storyline. It never ends. It never ends.
God damn it. Or maybe it's a filler issue. I don't know. And something else that you'll notice here, I have not just 1, but 2 copies of Lois Lane number 8. And some people may want to know, why do you have 2 copies? Well, we have a nice person in our room that does nice things for me. Her name is Lady Fantastic, and this secondary copy is going to be going to her. So I will take this issue and put that off to the side for you. This is now going for $15 online.
What?
Because there's a character that looks like a female Black Mask. She ripped off her face in the very end of the last issue. This issue, she's full on Black Mask, but the Black Mask is her real face.
Ugh.
Yeah, but it's good, so it should be good. Young Justice 13, some Mike Grell action. Looking forward to reading this over the weekend. Some Ant-Man #1 is Zeb Wells. I don't expect this to go long. They always either make it a mini-series or cancel it outright. And it's unfortunate. I like Zeb Wells' writing a lot. Captain America: The End. We can already confirm to those people out there that there was an error. It is not a misprint. Every single copy looks like this, where Miracleman did confirm for us that, yes, in fact, they credit Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, not Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Daredevil #17. Don't know, but I think there's a reappearance of somebody that was towards the end of Charles Soule's run. I guess I'll find out tomorrow or Friday when I go back to Key West. Yeah, that's still happening. Dr. Doom #5. I still don't know whether or not this is a mini-series or this is going to be something that, continue on. But I love Dr. Doom. I loved it when he was a good guy. I love him when he's a bad guy. I just love Doom. Immortal Hulk, just as I told Lady Fantastic, got the exact same cover because this is just, I preferred this cover more. Sometimes I'll pick a variant, not just because it's a variant. I'll just pick it up just because I prefer the cover. But it's Immortal Hulk. I have every issue, and it's Tom Taylor. I have been reading every issue of this, and I don't really think very much of the Storm Ranger outfit, but Ms. Marvel's been a good book. And Saladin Ahmed, I think he's done a pretty kick-ass job taking over for G. Willow Wilson. Miles Morales Spider-Man. I don't know if we're getting back to Ultimatum yet or if we're going to have some more Billy Morales, but I'll figure it out tomorrow. Darth Vader #1. Apparently no one could find this week. In fact, this was the last copy when I went to Phil's Comic Book Shop. Phil's Comic Book Shop is located in Broward, Florida. I would definitely recommend, if you've never been there, do check them out. Brian specifically, he hooks me up. I bring cash, and he lets me know when new books come in. And by new, I mean old, really old, which I'll show a couple in just a few minutes. We got the X4, X-Men Fantastic Four, where we have the son of Richard Reeds and Sue Storm, Franklin Richards, finally being shipped off to Krakoa. Next, we have X-Men #5. This was supposed to be out a month ago. Looking forward to reading it, but I don't know how this fits in, but it seems like the titles are all kind of disparate. So I guess you can read it however you want to read it in whatever order. It's not quite pox, just like Marauders 7. Looking forward to reading all those. And I will burn through the next set really quickly here so you can see what I wound up picking up. I'm not going to show all the X-Men. You saw that at the very beginning of the show, but at least you can get some context now. So I went to a place called CJ's Comics last Friday. I picked up some really good pricing here. The first appearance of the Falcon, only problem is right down here at the bottom on the rear cover. About this much right here has been ripped off from the back cover. I'm okay with that. Otherwise, this is like a $400, $300 book in higher grade.
It's nice looking.
Just the black edges. I'm good with that. I just want it to present well. I want it no water damage, no rusty staples, and make sure it's complete. I'm okay minus a Marvel value stamp. Don't matter to me, none. Moving on, we have Captain America 168. This is when the Phoenix reveals himself to be Baron Zemo.
Nice.
Well, we have a whole bunch of deaths in this issue. I've been missing this. I picked this up for only a couple bucks.
What issue is it?
This is Captain America 354. This is the first Union Jack 3. So I'm still looking for a 253, I believe. Or maybe I have a 253.
I think that's the first time I've seen that cover.
Yeah, that's nice. I like it. This is the issue of Daredevil, where Daredevil in issue 92 becomes Daredevil and the Black Widow instead of Daredevil, the Man Without Fears. Stays that way until issue 110. Also picked up a Daredevil 111. This is the first appearance of Silver Samurai, the butt of all jokes when it comes to Wolverine.
That's true.
And we have I finally have all the previews of Hulk 181. This comes towards the back of the book where there's also a Marvel Value stamp. And guess what? This one has the Marvel Value stamp.
Nice.
Yay, for once. I have horrible luck there. And a nice little shout out to Bullseye Comic Books. I told you I got the third appearance of Bullseye today. Tate's Comics had a pretty good run of Daredevil where they had not just one but two of almost everything. They didn't have 131 or 132, but they had two of the 141s. I picked the better conditioned one. And I used to have these, but I sold them a long time ago to the guy that runs the BTL Collectible Show. Now I'm buying everything back.
I did a trade with Bullseye Comics. He contacted me online and he was like, dude, I have this first Squirrel Girl. I'm not particularly interested. SDCC's coming up. I want extra cash. And he totally sold it to me for such a fair price. And it was great. He's a nice guy. So here's to you, Bullseye. I appreciate you.
Do you happen to know what his Instagram is?
Bullseye Comics Books.
There you go. Bullseye Comics, folks. If you haven't subbed him up over on Instagram, go ahead and do so.
Yeah, it's got good stuff.
After the show. So moving on, this is issue 153 of Daredevil. Can't remember why I picked this up. It was just on my list, and I know I didn't have it. I have a lot of Daredevil leading up to Frank Miller and all the way through 300s. Got a 250 of the Incredible Hulk, a silver.
Well done.
Lady Fantastic was the one that showed this about a couple months ago, and since then it's been on my list. Finally picked it up today.
It's beautiful.
Iron Man 166, first appearance of Obadiah Stane.
Nice. Nice.
Then we have issue 214 of Iron Man. This is when I think it's Sharon Ventura, Ms. Marvel, or no. Which one is this? The Spider-Girl winds up getting the new costume. It's the black outfit. Yeah. I didn't have it. I picked it up. It was $3. Now, these are the big ones. When Brian from Phil's Comic Shop called me, he said, hey, Rob, I got in a new collection. I think you might want to take a look at them. Now, last week when we were talking about do you have a comic book addiction, if you have dealers that have your number on speed dial to let you know that books just came in that are a bit more pricey, you might be addicted to comic books. Also, just like me, last night, because my job has become untenable for me to just live a normal life, from next Wednesday on forward, I am now taking all Wednesdays off. It's not to make me a Wednesday warrior. I'm looking to become a videographer. So hopefully one of these weeks very soon, you'll be hearing me say, hey, I'm a videographer now. I now have a much easier life. I know now no longer just feel like I'm going crazy because I go crazy so I can get these books. Yeah. So I got a 161. This is the origin of Galactus. I do not have a 162, but I do have a 168. And the 169 I showed just the other week. I also picked up over at CJ's Comics the other week. This is a good run of X-Men. Everything. But I do have a list that I've been showing on my Instagram. I wound up ticking off quite a bit of these today. So that was kind of nice for once. So I wound up picking up the first Moira McTaggart, wound up with the 99, first cameo of Black Tom Cassidy, issue 100, right before Jean Grey loses her life and becomes, I don't have a 101. Sorry, Lady Fantastic.
I know.
But that would be a good thing, because if I did, I'd probably try and get it to you first and then wind up.
You did trade me your 102, so I'm glad to see you got another one.
I actually paid a lot more for this than I did when I initially got it from some guy that was in the boonies in mid-Florida. He's like, you can take the whole thing for like $10.
I think I traded you that for the Warlock.
Oh, I know I have it here somewhere. It was just out. I was just looking at it.
The power.
Oh, no, here it is. I don't know if it's this one or the power of Warlock, but this one's still up on my wall.
That one, I'm pretty sure. Well, I can't remember actually.
Because I have 1 and 2 of this, and the 3 that goes into the Doctor Strange stuff. So there's a 103, 106, 107, 108.
Wow.
This is how you draw Storm, people. I just love John Byrne. And I think this is the last one that John Byrne did collaborated with Mr. Claremont.
No. I think John Byrne's last one was like 143.
Well, John's really easy to get along with.
I mean, not so easy.
What's that?
John Byrne, the word curmudgeon may have been invented specifically for John Byrne.
Yeah, I know he's a dick, but wasn't his last issue 143?
You know what? Let me find out.
You're going through that. I'll start cycling through the rest of these so then we can get on with the discussion because we're almost an hour in.
Wow.
112.
143. Yeah, I knew it. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just weird about that. But I'm pretty sure that Claremont was still on at 143.
Yes, Claremont and Claremont was writing. It says Byrne was pencils.
So you're just saying that he's quit doing the cover art or something? But Byrne was on in 143 through 143. I thought he stopped after that.
Yeah, he stopped after 143.
Yeah.
But he was pencils. He wasn't doing oh no, it says he was co-writer. Okay. My fault. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there, Rob.
No, that's all good because that was everything I really had to show. So I guess we should probably start getting on.
So your comic guy called you and said, "Hey, I got this X-Men stash."
Yep, pretty much. That's exactly how it worked. Hey, guess what? I have a bunch of new books that just came in.
How many total did you get?
So today, I think grand total I wound up with just today 12, and then last Friday between 30 and 40.
I meant like in the big deal that you did for the X-Men.
Oh, for the big deal X-Men, very close to about 40, and on top of that was the.
Damn, that's cool, man. All right.
Nice.
Sweet.
Very nice.
Worth it.
Absolutely.
Now, after an hour, let's talk about comic collecting.
No, after almost an hour, and because we like showing the new comic books, we like showing our hauls because
olds.
Every Wednesday we just look forward to talking with each other. This is part of the YouTube comic book community. We like talking about the books. Many of us don't have people in our own personal lives with whom we can have discussions. So we come here to do that. And we're here to help you all, especially those that maybe have never bought a single comic book, which is probably unusual for those that are joining us here today. But there may be some people that later on will go, hey, I'm looking to get into this. Where do I start? So my rationale is most people kind of fall into one or two categories. One being you're a collector. You're not reading this. You just go, it's a pretty cover. I want to sell this. Then there's the reader who would more often than not care so much about the grade as they would just filling in the holes to their run. For the most part, that's kind of me. But at the same time, I also like hoarding these things, as you can see around me. That's kind of bad sometimes. So, I don't know. How about we just ask that question? Knowing what you know now, where would you begin if you wanted to become a reader and then a collector starting from day one? Let's just say you had a budget, $100 to $1,000 if you had not a single comic book right now. Knowing what you know now, what would you tell somebody to go, okay, so we're going to start here. Does anyone want to go first?
Well,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Man. Go ahead, Miracleman.
All right. Well,
beauty.
Well, that's
Miracleman.
So here's I will tell you my advice to everybody who ever asks me about getting into comics, because it does come up from time to time. You know, you get that person who comes up and goes, "Hey, I hear you like them funny books," and you know, my advice to everybody, whether you're buying comics to be a collector, you think you're going to be doing an investment, which for the love of God, don't think that, or if you're buying comics just because you want to try reading some, my number one recommendation to every single person always and forever will be buy what you love. Because the quickest way to end collecting comics is when you view them not through the lens of something that you love, but in the lens of something that you're going to use as either an opportunity to make money later on down the road, or you're buying stuff that you don't necessarily like to read or look at, but you're buying it because it's a collectible. You know, let me tell you, my biggest hauls as a lifelong comic collector, universally, have come from people who are just getting out of comics.
Oh yeah,
because they've lost interest, or because they were only buying them because they were putting them away. You know, how many people in 1992 bought 10 copies of Superman 75, thinking they're going to put their kids through college someday with them? And now you'd be lucky to get $3 a pop.
I still remember a line going around the block, wrapping around the store almost twice back when Superman 75 came out, and yet today you can find it anywhere between $1 to maybe 20.
Right, absolutely. You know, and I'll tell you what, I think I have about 6 or 7 copies right now of the black bagged edition, and I bought every single one of them other than the first one for $1. So, you know, I'll tell you right now that is the quickest way to get out of it, is if you look at comics as anything other than I'm buying something that I love either to read or to look at or to enjoy in some manner. That is, in my estimation, the absolute best way to get into the hobby. Find a character you like, find a writer you like, find an artist you like, and then lean into those individual aspects. There's some writers that are incredibly prolific. If you're somebody who likes Byrne, or you're somebody who likes Perez, well, you've got a lot of stuff to choose from.
Yeah.
If you like some of the newer guys, Lehman, Kirkman, Larson, not that he's new, but you know, if you're looking at any of those guys, and I
like Ribich and Bianchi, man. Those two are killer.
There you go.
Oh,
You know, and lean into those people. I got people who absolutely love Sam Keith.
Yeah, dude, he's not bad. I have a lot of the Max because of Sam Keith.
Yes. Matter of fact, that was another thing I picked up that I didn't show off, was a big old run of Max.
Max Zero Girl. If you haven't read Zero Girl, it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
And I think there's 2 series of that now.
Yeah. You know, and that's the best possible way to get into collecting comics or reading comics or anything. Lean into the things that you like. If you come into comics and you are a Star Wars fan, take a look at the Star Wars stuff. If you like one of the writers, find out one of the other books he's writing or she's writing, and go and find go and find one of the books that they're doing. And if you find an artist you like, more than likely they're working on a couple of different books. So you find an artist that you like on one title, look up their other titles, track them down.
I'm going to throw a link into the chat room here. This is from 2017, it's the master list of the top 100 comic book storylines that readers cumulatively voted upon. And back in 2017, not that long ago, this is the master list. So if you didn't know where to start reading comics and you have a character, if it's a superhero or a team or a genre book, whether it's romance or war or sci-fi or horror, you can take a look at this list right here and get a pretty good rundown at what people consider some of the best storylines of all time. Like we have Watchmen is number 1. You can pick up the trade paperback. You can pick up the digital on Comixology. Won't cost that much. Or the individual issues. It depends on where you want to go with that and how much you're willing to spend. But when you have a kind of focus, at least you have a starting point. So right here are some really good storylines. I'll throw that on the screen. That is cbr.com. You can look up their master list of their top storylines, top 100.
CBR standing for Comic Books Review.
Yep, been around forever.
All right, so I was going to say something very similar to what you just showed, was that if you come into comics and you don't know shit about it, do your research. And you find reviews that have big N's being number of people that have reviewed it or voted about it. And you look amongst that list, I mean, and you may not like any of it, but it's a place to start. There's a higher probability that you might find something you enjoy. And then you start from there. And then you start jumping around. And you get an affinity and a taste for certain things. And you'll realize very quickly what you do and you don't like. But it takes a lot of sampling to do that. But the best way to have a positive initial experience, I would say, is to do what Rob just said.
Wow. Thank you. That is a wholehearted endorsement.
Yeah. Do what Rob said.
So moving on from there, what do you think, Miracleman?
Well,
if you were on day one with 0 comic books, knowing what you know now, would you go the collector route, the reader route, or a little of both? And where would you begin?
I would probably still be a little bit of both. I am definitely a collector, but I count myself primarily as a reader. And that entire 20,000 collection, minus maybe like 2,000, were all read, every single one of them. I got a couple thousand sitting in boxes ready, waiting to be read. I've been buying too fast. But
all of us.
Yeah. But my thoughts on those types of lists, I like those types of lists. They give people a good starting point. But my experience with those types of lists is they are very heavily influenced by hardcore comic fans.
Yeah.
Like comic book guy on The Simpsons.
Right. So, I love Watchmen. I don't know if you can tell from my handle there that I'm a bit of an Alan Moore guy.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's why I chose you. Miracle, man. That's one of my favorite Alan Moore stories. Hey, you want to be part of a show?
Here's the thing. Despite the fact that I absolutely love Watchmen, I think it's one of the it's gotten a lot of hype over the years, but it's earned hype. It is not something that has been overhyped by the comic book nerds. It is earned. Every single word of positive response to that series has been earned. But here's what I think about it. If you give that to a first-time comic reader to read, a lot of them, they're not going to read a second comic.
That's going to be heavy stuff, man.
It's heavy. That's some heavy lifting right off the bat. And it's not that you need to have a lot of background, but Watchmen is a story that's crafted in a manner that is, if you are a superhero person, it's your story.
It's like a multi-tiered cake, and like you do have to kind of be an aficionado to appreciate it.
Yes.
There's a lot of shit going on.
It's like the difference between watching
forcing somebody to drive like NASCAR when they're getting their permit,
Right. Rob, you were saying?
I was going to say, it would be kind of like saying for somebody that's never watched a movie before, I don't know if Perry is in the chat room, but he's one of those type of people. If someone has never watched a movie before, are you going to give them Citizen Kane or maybe Spaceballs?
Right.
I don't know, something to go, okay, this is kind of easier way into it. You give somebody the hardest, most densest thing, like give a child a book, something to read for the first time. Don't make it Moby Dick.
Right.
Don't give up.
That shit will put you off reading forever.
Right. And the people make that mistake a lot of times. Watchmen's not the only example. Dark Knight Returns. How many greatest lists? How many, you should read Dark Knight Returns. So great.
V for Vendetta is another one.
There's another From Hell. That's even another. These books. You really have to be a comic person for some of these books to truly appreciate them. And if you give them to that casual, that novice, or as me and my friends,
you're going to freak the out.
Exactly.
Although well is pretty, I'm never going to read another comic book if that is representative of everything out there.
Right. I think there's some authors that make comics still approachable. If you want to give somebody a superhero comic, if they've expressed interest in a superhero comic, I'll tell you a series that I think is vastly underrated and is a fantastic entry point for new comic readers. It's Superman for All Seasons.
Oh, yes.
That's a book that's approachable by casual fans, by people who barely know anything about Superman. I mean, who barely knows anything about Superman, but you know what I mean. That's a series that people can pick up and read, and they can walk away and go, oh, I enjoyed that. Let me maybe look a little more for Superman, or a little more for that artist, or a little more for that writer. Well, there you go. Yeah, absolutely. And, there are series that are out there that are like that. There are series that are out there that are not your traditional cape and tight, that may be unapproachable by some people, that can help ease people into comics a lot easier than a Dark Knight Returns or a Watchmen.
I'm going to throw something else here in the chat room. This is another one of those things that I'm talking about. If you were trying to find day one where to begin, do a Google search. Here's something. This is the WikiHow on how to start a comic book collection. So the link is right now down below. And as you can see here, the first thing to do is, if you have an area that you live in, you might want to find a comic book shop. So here's something right here. It is comicshoplocator.com. I'll also throw this into the chat as well. And this, all you need to do is put in your zip code. Like, for example, I'm going to put in my zip code, 33187. And it will spit out a list for me of all the comic shops that are within the area with a nice little map. So this way you can try out some of the different comic shops. Also take a look at the Yelp reviews, because not all comic shops are the same. Mm-hmm. Some might cater only to the newer books that have come out in the last maybe 20 years or so. If you want to try and find one of these old Captain Americas like this, you're going to be hard-pressed to find it. And if you do find it, instead of paying whatever guide is for it, you're going to be paying guide and a little more for nostalgia and housing fee for the comic book store owner. So try a few different shops, look at the Yelp and the Google reviews, and just do your homework. That's more than anything else when it comes to collecting comics, because you might pick up that book that you'll look up and say, well, that costs like $50. I found it for $8. This is awesome, until you look at the condition and it's shit tier. I'm going to throw that link in here right now where it's telling you about that. By the way, this is for 18 and over, so do keep that in mind.
I do want to mention about that that map, that comic shop locator. Great tool to utilize. Don't take this as the opposite of a recommendation, because I've used it many times myself. But I have found out from what used to be my comic shop in the local area that, and they were hands down the best shop in the area for the longest time. But they never paid to be in that. So they never showed up. So Comic Shop Locator is actually a paid service that the comic shops have to elect into. And if they don't, they won't even show up in there. Definitely worth trying, definitely worth using. But if you don't see anything, or you only see a couple of shops, drop it into your Google Maps. Or your don't do it into your Apple Maps, because that will drive you into an ocean and kill you.
Most likely, or the wrong way.
Right.
But if you put it in Waze, you put comic book. Just put comic book in Waze. And for those that don't know what Waze is a GPS to help you drive places, to know, hey, cops are over here. There's an accident over here. Oh, I should turn here. Where the hell am I going? Oh, I just got to wherever I'm supposed to go a lot faster. Right. Put in comic book. Put in comic book store. Put in collectibles, put in antique stores.
Yes.
Because you'll find a lot of great deals at antique stores, at consignment shops. But call ahead because you don't want to show up there, root around through a store for about 2 hours, only to figure out there's nothing here. That's probably not a good thing. So,
and you know what?
Stores, don't just try one, only go to one, because you might find, we did a show a few weeks back on how to divorce your local comic shop store, because if your store, after picking through all these books, you bring it to the counter and then they whip out their phone so that they can take a look at Key Collector Comic App, which we will speak about in just a little while. Then they take a look at Comic Book Realm, or they'll pick out the comic book price guide, which I have right over here. So this is another good resource to have, your comic book price guide. I'm going to blow myself up for just a second so people can see what this looks like for those that have not seen this. This is the Overstreet price guide. This comes out every single year. There's various different types of printings, like all the comic books. You can get a hardcover, softcover. You just want it to look at, because after a year, this just becomes a giant paperweight to you. And mostly, it's a lot of good information in here. So if they look at eBay, the price guide, comicbookrealm.com, and then finally eBay and go, well, the highest price is $80 for near mint, and you're looking at it going, but this is like half that condition. This is like a fine at best. It should be like 30. Listen to your intuition. Your intuition will not lead you astray. It's part of that primal force that's been inside of us for thousands and thousands of years. Listen to that. It's a superpower, for real.
You know, I was you mentioned a lot of great places that were non-traditional comic shops, and I'm going to let everybody in on a little secret that I've been having a lot of success in. And, you know, maybe you're going to say this isn't a secret. I do this all the time. But I'll tell you, where I got my Uncanny 266 for $1 a couple of weeks back, guys, check out the pawn shops.
Yes.
Pawn shop. So by and large, pawn shop owners, they're not comic people. They just know, hey, you can sell comics. And I've been in some pawn shops. I got a local pawn shop that I'm going to be visiting tomorrow. I got a meeting set up with them. Going to be taking an extra long lunch. Told the boss today, and I didn't tell him why. But going to be taking an extra long lunch to go over there because he buys storage lockers of, you know, anything that he sees as a collectible, and he starts dumping those books crazy cheap. I found last time I saw him. But here's how I met him. I was at a little local toy con, and I walk up. He's got about 20 long boxes sitting there, and the first long box I flip through is literally nothing but Human Fly. Yes, Rob, you made the face that I made.
The Neil Adams Human Fly?
The Bronze Age era Human Fly stunt master comic book from Marvel Comics. For those of you not familiar, one of the worst Bronze Age titles to come from Marvel. Literally, nobody is collecting that book. And I said to myself, I've never seen this many copies of Human Fly in one place ever in my entire life. So I flip over to the next box, and it is the entire run of Spider-Woman, about 10 or 15 copies of every issue. So what this guy did is he bought one of the local old school comic shops. The owners had passed away. He had bought one of the storage lockers that their books had been sitting in since 1975. And they were selling them all $3 a piece. Any book you want, $3 a piece. So I recently just talked to him, and he has picked up another massive collection of silver and bronze.
Shut up and take my money.
Bingo. So seriously, guys, take a look. Call around to your pawn shops. See who has comics. Some of these guys are picking up books and sitting on them. They know people buy comics. They don't know a lot about them. I've been to places where they're charging way too much money, but I've been to places where they're charging way too little money. And those have taken my money.
I've been to places where they have both scenarios.
Yes.
There's some books they're grossly overpriced, and you're like, "What are you thinking?" And there's other books, and you're like, "What the hell?"
Right.
Anyway.
And that's just it. Maybe they're smart enough that they do a little looking up, and they go to eBay and they look something up, and okay, well,
just enough. Like they don't cover all the bases because their inventory is too big.
Right, their inventory is too big, and they don't have the daily interaction with comics that a comic shop's going to have, comic collectors are going to have, where they know, hey, all of a sudden somebody cares about issue 16 of this book because such and such a guy happened to such a thing. So those are untapped gold mines out there, guys. I really recommend if you get the opportunity, and I'm kicking myself because now I'm going to go to the pawn shops and there ain't going to be any comics left. But if you have pawn shops in your area, hit them up. Don't just show up. Call them, ask them if they buy comics, and if they say yes, get on over there and see what they got.
Hell yeah! Thank you.
Hell yeah!
Here's another one I'm going to show on the screen because this is something that Miracleman has been kicking me in the ass about because I still have not done it yet. For all 62 long boxes that are in this room, most all of them filled to the brim. I mean, not all of them. I do have some space that I use extra bags and boards that I take. Anytime I buy a book, I take it out, and that bag and board I use as buffer. Because all these boxes that you see behind me, there's a little flap that goes right there that will indent your books. So I take a few of those, about 5 or 10, throw that at the front of the box, throw it at the back of the box, and it keeps them nice and even. Inside the box, you don't want to have a whole lot of slack because after a while, it won't lie flat anymore. It'll just start inverting like my warped up fingers do right here. And now your spine that used to be maybe a 9.0, a 9.8 even, is now a 7. That can happen.
Happens a lot.
And here's something that we had a little bit earlier. This is from Ricky Ricardo Vacas. This is the attorney that, good guy. He wound up seeing me in a deposition a while back, and I started chatting to him about comic books. And now he is coming out to comic book shops that I'm at. I saw him today at, and I like promoting him, Frank's Comics is the comic book shop I go to every week on Wednesdays. They open right around 12:31. It's located at 2678 Southwest 87th Avenue in Miami, Florida, 33165. Frank's Comics, the guy that runs it, his name's John. You'll know him. Tell him Rob sent you. Now, what Miracleman's been kicking me in the ass about is really it doesn't cost very much, as you can see right in here. But it doesn't cost much. It's CLZ. You can wind up spending $15 for the year, and you can have not just a list of what you have, you can have a list of what you're looking for. So just how people have been seeing and kind of making fun of my handwriting, because apparently it's so clean, I don't know. But it's like, hey, I used to have spiral notebooks like that too. So you can, instead of doing this, the old school method, you can put it into CLZ, and CLZ will keep the grade. It's pretty on target as far as an accumulated cost over the last 6 months or so. So if something way spikes, it might not show right away, but at least you can keep a list like this on your phone, so you're not just folding that up and carrying it around with you like the teenager we used to be. Now we're a little bit older, some of us, maybe not all of us, but yeah, keep CLZ on your phone, keep that comic shop locator so you know where the shops are in the area, and start making lists. What do you want? Have you watched the Marvel Cinematic Universe and you want to start on Iron Man? Well, look up, where would I start Iron Man storylines, best Iron Man storylines, and it'll spit out a few lists. You can look it up. You can go to the Wikipedia page, and it'll give you a nice little summary of what some of those issues, what's been going on, and you'll start learning writers that you will follow, people like Alan Moore, maybe a little heavy, Neil Gaiman, a little fantasy and a little wispy, Garth Ennis loves his war and loves using the F word. War of the Risk. A lot of the same. Bendis likes to talk and hear the sound of his own words in all the panels everywhere. He has some great issues. He has some not as good, but no one can always hit the jackpot each and every single time.
It's true.
Make your lists and start knocking them out one by one by one. Reggie collects. I remember watching him back when he first started doing this, and he was really a go-getter into the Amazing Spider-Man run. And guess what? He now has every single issue of the core Amazing Spider-Man title.
Oh, that's
and
great.
He's somebody just like you, like me, like the people watching at home. We're not special. It's not that hard to find these books. A lot of these, it might take time, but unless it's something like Cursed Pirate Girl #1 from Comics Press, that's like about a $1,200 book, you can probably wait and find it in a better condition and possibly cheaper elsewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Do your homework, search around. Make friends with people in the comic book community. Create an Instagram page. Through Instagram, you can create hashtags like IG Comic Family, IG Comic Book Family, IG Comic Fam, hashtag Comic Fam, all these little hashtags. It brings people together. If you throw comic book in the title of your name, that probably helps too. I'm just Rob Worst _NNM. Lady Fantastic is Caro _Syrup, right?
Yeah, Caro, like Caro Syrup, but my name's Caroline, so it's a play on words because that stuff's fun. I just entered it into the little chat.
Oh, and Silver Age Dave is in the chat room right now.
He said he's a new collector and he's thinking about starting.
Of course he is. What happened? Did you sell everything already? And now you're going, well, I have a bunch of money. Where should I start? Oh, Action Comics #2 and 1. Don't mind if I do.
I wanted to mention about that CLZ app. I've been using it for a couple of years now. Guys, if you're not using this app, I'm telling you, this thing is an absolute game changer. I have 20,580 comics in my collection. Out of those 20,000 comics, I can pull up any single one of them at any time right on the app within seconds and see what issues I have, what issues I need. And I can't tell you how many times I've been, in the middle of a dig and in some place that most people wouldn't even walk into, let alone dig for comics in. No internet, no Wi-Fi, no cell signal. And I pulled my phone out, brought up my app, and been able to look up the comics I already have in my collection and know instantly what it was that I needed out of the box I was digging through. I haven't bought a double issue since I started using it, unless I wanted to, of course. And honestly, if you're not using it, thank you, because you're making it easier for me to get those good comics that you're missing out on.
Is it free or is it monthly?
So you can buy. I bought for $15. I bought the Lifetime app on my phone. That's all I use. However, there is an option for a $15 for a yearly renewal where you can get it. I think it's $15 yearly renewal where you can get it on your phone and on your computer. And the computer application actually gives you some greater statistical breakdown information. It can tell you how many,
This
what
is
you have.
so nerdy. It's hilarious. I love
It is. It's super nerdy. But I cannot recommend it enough. My wish list, I'm collecting all the Squadron Supreme appearances. I went through and just tagged every single book off of the Marvel wiki that has Squadron Supreme, put it in the wish list. Now when I'm digging through, I know that I need this random Mighty Thor or this random Captain America that has a Nighthawk appearance. And, I have not regretted getting this app since.
Nice.
And we have on the screen right now, this is the bundle offers. So CLZ Comics, you can have one that's just strictly for your phone. It works on Apple iPhone as well as Android. It's either $1.50 a month or $15 for the year. Comic Connect, I guess it's for any computer, so this would just be only for the computer. And then you have for the both desktop as well as, I guess, your phone, and you can pay yearly at $30 a year. So I would say if you're going to start just testing the waters, $15 is not that difficult to throw on your phone. And as you start getting more into the hobby, then you might want to spring for the $30 a year. Now, here's something else. If you are planning on getting into a little bit more of the collector aspect of comic book collecting, you might want to know what are the keys and first appearances, so that way you can get those more expensive issues perhaps first, if you can afford it. Comic Tom 101 does have a saying, geek responsibly. Don't start putting stuff on a credit card, building yourself into debt, where now you can no longer pay for your car or your health insurance or whatever.
Right.
So your Key Collector app, it will tell you what are the hot keys of the day, and something to always keep in mind for new people just starting out to buy these things, that anytime that you see something in the top 10, whether it's CBSI or the Key Collector Top 20, that when something hits, more often than not, it's going to last for about 2-3 days, and then it starts rewinding all back over again. Like this week, Lois Lane number 8 can probably go for about $15 easy if you start jumping on over to eBay. And this just came out today. Jumping on over to eBay, we're going to see real quick here. All right, so moving on down, 7 and 8, we have someone asking for $24. We have someone asking $70. I mean, it's crazy. And then if you wait just a little while, as I keep saying, it's a patience game. It's just wait and you'll get it. That's why I also have something that I throw up here every week. I try and put my worst top 5. This week, I'm throwing up there Batman Adventures number 12, along with Batman issue 386 that you do see right over here on my Not Near Mint screen that I'll just blow up. Because issue number 386, this is the first appearance of Black Mask, who is going to be in the Birds of Prey movie, played by Ewan McGregor, that comes out this weekend. Also, we have Dr. Fate and Hourman in Showcase number 88. That is the first appearance of Solomon Grundy in the Silver Age, because if you try and find it in the Golden Age, good luck. And I was wrong, it's Showcase 55. So Showcase 55 also doubles up for the fact that it is the first appearance in the Silver Age of the Golden Age Green Lantern. So we have a few of those in there, and the big thing with this issue that Stargirl, it has been announced that Solomon Grundy will be a recurring bad guy in this series.
Oh, man.
And the thing to keep in mind also, movies will cause books to raise in price, but just the same, something to keep in mind. Yeah, TV doesn't quite work the same way as the movies do. So when you see something coming out for that, you're going to see that TV shows will not cause a book to spike nearly as much.
Rob,
Lady Fantastic.
I need to go to bed because I'm a granny. I'm sorry. I love you guys. You can knock me off.
How about we just ask you this question first, because I knew that we were talking about this. I don't know if you have any announcements yet, but how about you go ahead and promote yourself?
Well, I've been talking to Rob, and so I'm thinking about having an auction soon, but it's nothing solid yet. I'll announce something ahead of time. But I'm just trying to get some cool stuff together and get some things organized, and see what happens, dudes. And just enjoy your life and enjoy your books. Until next time.
And breaking news, Lady Fantastic will be joined by Rob Wurst as an auctioneer. I will not be selling books. I will just be announcing them.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I need to ask you a favor.
Always. I'm honored. Really, I am. So I know you want to check out thank you so much, Lady Fantastic, for joining tonight. And I'm going to throw in the chat as you exit. Have a great evening. Looking forward to speaking to you again next weekend, but we're going to be talking in the meanwhile.
You guys keep chatting. I appreciate you for having me.
So we're going to jump into the chat room right now. For those that want to join the discussion, I am leaving this over here. It is the join the discussion on StreamYard. If you have a webcam and a microphone ready to go, if you have some knowledge that you want to impart to the rest of the community, please, by all means, do so. Let me just copy over this link here, and I'll drop this in the chat. So anybody that feels like joining, feel free to do so, because we're not going to go that much further, but there are some more things that we want to discuss on here, like key collector isn't the only way to figure out if something's a key or first appearance. I'm going to go ahead and add this back to the screen again. Now, there's another website here. I'm just going to pop this up right in here. It is called Comic Book. Hold on. comicbookrealm.com. And with comicbookrealm.com, you'll see real quick that you can type in any series, whatever it is, and I'm just going to type in here X-Men. And if you just, you can't quite afford the Key Collector comic app yet, it tells you every single issue by volume if you can't afford quite yet the comic buyer's price guide. So we'll just scan on down here and look for just X-Men. TUV, because before it was Uncanny, it was just plain and simple X-Men. So it has here every volume, it'll have every issue. And as you're scanning down the list here, these prices are arbitrary at best, because you'll take a look at a price guide, it might be off by 25, 50, $100, who knows? Also, if something's been mentioned, hey, this might become a movie, that causes people to go jump online and buy things at an exorbitantly ridiculous price instead of waiting. I wait personally anywhere between 6 days to 6 weeks, and some books might not come back down again. One of those that happened recently, including here, I'll show you both of these. So one I got from Lady Fantastic, and the other one I bought at a comic book convention. So let's blow us back up on the screen here. This is the She-Hulk #1. This has been optioned by Disney Plus. It is going to become a new TV show. Also, it has been let known that Jane Foster will become the new Thor in the next Thor movie, Love and Thunder. These books have not come back down. If something winds up going more than about 6 weeks without that price recoiling back, might be a good time to jump on it. Also to keep in mind is print run. If something is under about 12, 15,000, if it's something that's evergreen, and evergreen is a book that no matter what people buy, regular Batman books, regular detective comics, regular Amazing Spider-Man. If one of those books winds up just jumping and it stays there, it's not coming back down, people. It's not happening. That happened with Amazing Spider-Man 238, where that was an $80 book all day long. Now you can't find it for really under $150, $180. Unless it's a copy I have that I smoked on back when I was younger. Dumb me.
That'll happen.
Yeah, don't smoke around your books, kids. It'll make them smell bad. I haven't smoked in years. I am not going back anytime soon. So, do you have any more knowledge that you want to impart, Miracleman?
Just to your point, and I think we've talked about this many times in the past, but the books when they spike, man, really great example was nice mute. Really great example was the Atlas books over the summer, the Atlas Seaboard line. From 1975 to 1976, Stan Lee's brother left Marvel, went off and started his own comic book company called Atlas Seaboard. Why they let him use the Atlas name, I don't know, but nobody went after him for it. Was it
What are
Archie?
you gonna do? Sue your brother?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So he made a whole line of comics. There were war comics, police comics. There were teen romance comics. Well, not really teen romance, but an Archie type line of comics. They had superheroes. They had monsters. They had the supernatural. They were garbage tier comics, guys.
And the longest any of them went was 4 issues.
4 issues, because they were published every other month, and the company only existed for a year. And when I say they were garbage tier comics, I'm going to tell you right now, they had some of the greatest creators of all time: Wally Wood, Howard Chaykin, Larry Hama. They had great creators working on these books that just had the most boring and bland plot lines and characters you've ever seen, and were so centrally mired in 1975 lore that if you pick one up today and try to read it, it's like watching Saturday Night Fever for the first time. It's tough. It's tough to get through. But what happened was, over the summer, they got the grandson of Stan Lee's brother, for the life of Leibowitz, but I can't remember his first name. He sold the controlling share of the characters to Paramount Pictures. He still owns 49%, from what I understand, but he sold 51% to Paramount Pictures, because every single movie and television production studio is looking for their own superhero universe. They want their own Avengers. They want their own Endgame, and they optioned that line of heroes, and not optioned, but bought them outright. And they're going to sift through all these characters, these great, amazing characters like Tiger Man, and so they're going to sift through these characters and try.
You have one that's still around to this day, but you don't really see him much. It was the Howard Chaykin character from Scorpion. They turned him into
Dominic Fortune.
Dominic Fortune.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And actually, Demon Hunter is Devil Hunter. So the Demon Hunter character was retooled, and not Devil Hunter, Devil Slayer. The Demon Hunter character was retooled and turned into Devil Slayer from Marvel. Another character that's still not seen a whole lot, but he served as the basis. And these books, when that announcement happened, you could have found Atlas Seaboard books. People passed by them in dollar bins and 50-cent bins, Bronze Age books that people didn't even bother to pick up because they really just weren't that good. But all of a sudden, you were getting $4, $5, $6, $7, $8 a book. And I saw somebody have a Tiger Man #1 that was already slabbed at a 9.6. And I said, that's very impressive that it's a 9.6. And why did you have Tiger Man #1 slabbed?
My bigger question was, before Comic Tom 101 started going public with the Atlas Seaboard getting optioned, no one was picking these up.
Right.
You could go on to the CGC census and look up how many of these, Tiger Shark #1 or Scorpion #1. There might be like 2. And now it's gone quite a bit higher, but they're worthless. I'm sorry.
They are.
They're worthless.
And here's the thing. They very well might make a movie, and it blows up, and people suddenly want these books. Planet of Vampires was a personal favorite, but after issue 1, don't even bother reading it.
It changed every issue. It was we don't know what the readers want, so we're going to give them a taste in the first issue, and before they can like them, we're going to totally revamp them for the second issue.
Sure
and then
enough.
Again in the third, and then the fourth, and then oh shit, we're going out of business.
All right. There was a book called Phoenix the Protector. It had a really interesting concept. The art was very unique. Kind of looked like they were trying to do a 2010 kind of thing with it, or 2010, Space Odyssey type of look to it, but also not be your traditional superhero, but kind of add some superhero elements. And then by issue 4, he was just a regular superhero. In fact, I think by issue 3, it was just a regular superhero. And so anything that they tried, they didn't seem to understand where they were going, and they were just all over the place. But these books popped, and I was still able to find them here and there at reasonable prices, a couple bucks here or there for them. And now I guarantee there's a dealer out there somewhere that was stockpiling these books that is now going to be shoveling them off onto eBay at 10 cents on the dollar compared to what he paid for them before, because they are just not, nobody wants these comics.
They remind me of the old, for those that are old enough, if they remember, the 1986 Back to the Future Nintendo game, where millions of copies are now at the bottom of a landfill somewhere.
Yep.
They just overdid it. They overprinted them. Nobody wanted them to begin with.
Right.
And there is this law of worthlessness that a lot of these Golden Age comics, the big reason why they're so expensive is because comic books were disposable. After you read it, you'd throw it away, leave it on a park bench. No one was thinking about collectors. No one was thinking they'd get more than 10 cents for the book. Like, there's something that Aaron Myers has on his homepage. And if you're on Twitter, do sub up Aaron Myers or AM Sales, because that AM Sales on Instagram is his page to sell books. He winds up showing, I got this for $1. But at the very top of his Twitter page, it shows an old Charlie Brown comic from like the 50s, where Charlie Brown, it looks like me right now. Comics all around. It's like used comics for sale. And he's just been sitting there bored.
Right.
But revamp that today, and it's like, oh, I'll take those, Charlie. Back then, of worthlessness. People threw it away. You had 1955 Frederick Wertham's Seduction of the Innocent go, hey, kids, come on, bring your comics. We're going to go to the local church book burning. And all those copies were lit on fire, thrown away by parents that said, if little Johnny reads Batman with Robin, he's going to be gay. If he reads Tales from the Crypt, he might murder me. So
that's true.
Threw them away. And now everyone wants it back. Everyone wants to buy their childhood back. So these new books that come out week to week that go, hey, this spiked to $20 this week. Just think to yourself, 20 years from now, do you honestly think that this particular character of fill in the blank, Cosmic Ghost Rider, this new black masked female character in Lois Lane 8, is this going to be a character that's going to be hanging around? And we have somebody joining us. We have Comics on the Mind. Hello, Kirk. Welcome.
What's up? I saw you guys. I heard you guys talking about some interesting Nintendo games, so I had to hop on. I know exactly what game you're talking about. And
the Alamogordo landfill.
Yeah. just like E.T. The Atari E.T. game. Yeah, I'm already knowing.
E.T., not Back to the Future, but Back to the Future was pretty shitty too.
It was Dev. It was not the game. I didn't want to go on a street or catch milkshakes or my mother's hearts. That was not a good game.
That game seemed like it took the platformer. You ever play the old school Popeye? 1982 Popeye game.
Yeah, that's a good game.
That's a killer game. I mean, it's essentially just Donkey Kong with Bluto, olive oil, and Popeye.
Basically.
But it seemed like they took a lot of the gameplay of the 1981 or 82, whatever it was, Popeye game, arcade platformer, and turned it into a 2D scroller for that Back to the Future game.
Yeah. I thought Paperboy was bad, but that game I played Paperboy.
Right.
That was a decent game, even though it's just as redundant as that one.
Oh yeah, Right. Well, games of that era where they were essentially all redundant. I mean, it was the same actions for 250 hours of gameplay.
Yeah, definitely. And now everybody has Call of Duty or Fortnite, as my students like to say.
Right.
It will keep evolving until the point gets, hold on, I need to play video games.
No. Plugging into the Matrix.
There'll be a chip in our brain.
Yeah, let's get into that point, definitely. They're already chipping people, aren't they?
Yes.
Are thinking about chipping people.
Yeah. Did y'all ever read or see them? I mean, I hope you read the book because the movie was not it was a pale imitation. Ready Player One.
Oh, I want to read that book. I want to. I haven't seen the movie because I want to read the book first.
Listen, don't even bother seeing that movie. That movie is about eight pages of the book as a movie. That
Oh,
book
interesting.
is freaking fantastic. The licensing that they had to get for the movie, they couldn't even get anywhere close to the licensing. But in the book, the Japanese Spider-Man, Supadaman, has
Yes, I love that show.
has a very prominent and important role in the book. They don't even show him in the movie, but he is
Wow.
very important in the book. I highly recommend reading it. Fantastic book. But the idea behind that is that every single person, part of society is basically falling apart. It's essentially this society just 50 years from now, where the rich are richer and the rest of us are as poor as we can get. And they all spend all of their time in this virtual reality world where they can go and do anything, and they're wearing the VR headset. I mean, it's so realistic that it's they don't want to be in the crappy real world. They want to be in the virtual world. And we're
kind of like that now. You're right.
Right. Yeah.
So, Comics on the Mind, if you were starting on day one and you had 0 comic books, where would you begin?
That is a good question. I would definitely not
know now.
Not eBay, because I started collecting from flea markets, and then I transitioned to eBay because I thought, oh, I love Silver Age books, so I'm going to buy them off there.
Oof.
And it ended, it ended good. And sometimes it ended bad. Like I bought 2 lots of there it is, 2 lots of Tales of Astonish, and the first lot was awesome,
Nice.
Really good condition. And then the other one, it said it was fine, but there was writing on the books.
Ooh.
Not those stamps, not the stamps like we're not selling these anymore. Like it was written on in pen. So I have like these you do you have the same thing? Oh yeah, the famous Doug book.
Oh, yeah.
Doug was here. I still think it's Doug Funny that owns that book.
But getting this book made it so that comics are mostly all preferences.
Yeah.
No one can tell. I mean, people can tell you, but no one should really tell you. You shouldn't do that. You should do it this way. It's like, screw you. This is all preference.
Well, people shouldn't say that, but I think we've all run into the counter jerk one time or another at an LCS. That guy who...
Oh, I have a story.
Oh, well, there you go.
Definitely.
You tell your story then. If you know what I'm talking about, go for it.
No, and this is like literally around the time I first started getting back into comics. I didn't have a local comic shop yet. I was just learning what that meant. And I went to a shop, and I had just learned what keys were. I was just learning a bunch of new stuff. And so I went in and I asked them for, actually I have the book right here. Give me a second. So I just took all my key books off the wall and I'm redoing. If you can't tell, I'm redoing that. Everything is blank back there. I can't find it, but I got, oh, here it is, actually. I asked for this book, and normally, first appearance, Beta Ray Bill. And normally, if you don't have a book, like, they just say, no, we don't have that book. This guy, he started laughing in my face.
What?
First impression, already set. I still see that guy, yeah, he started laughing. Oh, that is funny. That is, like, pointing and all that stuff, and I'm just like, okay, now I get triggered very easily. Like, my dad used to call me either fat or stupid. So it's like, that's like triggering. I'm like, I feel like an idiot already. And it's like, okay, I stopped going to that shop for a while. And it was only one of the co-owners that she's awesome. Lovely lady, always drops knowledge on me every single time I go in there. She's the reason why I go back there. Her and one other person. Most everybody else in there makes me feel like I'm an idiot, and it shouldn't be like that. We already are in like a community where people already feel self-conscious about themselves already, and so it's like, how are you going to make money if you're scaring like your customers away? So I don't know, like that left a bad taste in my mouth. I still go there because they have a really great collection of books. But it's just those few individuals that like rub me the wrong way. And it's like, okay, I know who I have to go to and talk, to talk real comic books.
Don't let the occasional toxic fan detract you from collecting, reading, because there's a type of book out there for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Well, a good example. This book that came out today that's now going for about 15, 20, 40 bucks online, this was not made for me. This was made for somebody that likes watching manga/anime related properties, that like watching Cartoon Network. And this was a very low point run for something that, unless you like, cartoony death metal with funny furry animals, it's not made for me. Doesn't mean it might be bad. Maybe it is. I don't know. I haven't read it. But not everything is made for you or me. My Little Pony, it's not made for me. It might be made for a brony that's 40 years old, but not for this man that prefers Spider-Man and Batman at 40 years old.
Right.
Every comic is made for a different type of audience. You want to try and reach the greatest amount that you can, but it starts getting really niche. Like there's some out there that are, unless you are some 13-year-old trans girl, it's probably not meant for you, a type of book. There's a type of book for everybody, and you shouldn't say, this is crap. You shouldn't read this. This is Power Rangers. Power Rangers are for kids. I know quite a
man. I totally agree with you.
If first of all, if you own a comic book store and you have ever said the words to any customer about to buy a book, don't buy this book. This book is trash. Why are you reading this? Then you are in the wrong business. Go work someplace where you don't have to talk to people, because you're in a comic book store. You want to sell comics.
You're supposed to move product. It doesn't matter if it's a first appearance or a filler book. Move the product. Move the product. You're not supposed to hold on to this. I mean, okay, so I have my local comic shop owner. He just got in a copy of the Submariner. I can't remember if it's 8 or 9. It's the black cover. Something that's really hard to find in nice condition. It was given to him as a gift. He put it right up there at the corner of the store, not for sale. Like, I'd get that framed then, because to me, if it's in a shop, everything's for sale.
Right.
Hey, what's that on the wall over there? The lighting fixture? Yeah, the lighting fixture.
Give it to me!
But it's a lighting fixture. It's not for sale. Bullshit! Everything's for sale in a store.
Right. Well,
And
particularly,
the reporter said, no jerks. If a store owner treats you crappily, don't go back.
right.
I don't even bring up their names. The comic shop owner that wound up pricing things at the counter, I don't bring up the shop owner's name. I don't bring up his store name. I just go, my name is Paul, and this is between y'all.
Right. Right. It's easy enough. It's easy enough for a comic shop to close because you're not good at business and you're just a fanboy. If you're a douche on top of that, you probably pretty much just doubled your chances of closing down.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Well, and really, that's the.
Talk to all of us. If you don't know an answer to a question, reach out to some of the people on Instagram or Twitter, people like myself, maybe Miracleman over on Twitter.
Twitters.
For those people that aren't familiar, here is his Twitter again. He's not on Instagram.
No. Because I don't have a Twitter. I stay off that.
Honestly. Lost it.
No, I was just going to say, I just kind of want to stay off Twitter until the end of the week, considering what just happened today. But we don't talk politics or news or anything else around here because when it comes to comics, this is escapism. We don't want to have to think about the real world and how awful people are to one another, because we get enough of that in the real world. We want to pick up our nice fat stack of comics over here so we can bring it home and in
And read
private,
them.
unless you're on this show, then you might decide to read, on air. It's a very personal thing. So we're starting to reach close to the midnight hour. I do have to be up soon. So something I'm going to start incorporating into the show here. When you start hearing this sort of music in the background, this is Eller Van Buren, the brother of Armin Van Buren. This is White Sand by Sun Lounger, Roger Shaw. I am a huge fan of trance music. I'm not going to say I'm not. It doesn't mean I'm cool because I like trance. I'm a fat nerd that reads comics and likes trance music too. And there's something to say about a little bit of dance music and comic books. It's larger than life, and that's why we come to comics every week. So as we close out the show, I want to just ask everybody in the room here to first, if you haven't already, smash that like, sub up one another in the chat, and subscribe and hit that notification bell to let you know when new videos drop. But for those that don't know, we do this every Wednesday at 10 p.m. So closing out, let's go to Mr. Mind over here. Mr. Mind, why don't you go ahead and promote yourself?
I love that. I don't have anything planned right away. I just started a new job, so I'm trying to get used to that. But I'm working on a show and a live, especially now that my Wi-Fi works now. I moved my whole setup, and now I get a perfect signal. Yes.
Awesome.
So I have I know, right? I have a live that I'm trying to plan out, but I need to get like guests and all that good goobly ga. But I'm working on that, and I'm working on a edited show that's gonna be hilarious. I just need to start finishing editing the first couple episodes, but I got some stuff working on in the background. But if you guys don't know, I have a Instagram, and it's Mindshift. It's that catchy thing that everybody loves. Hey, it's your boy Mindshift, aka Comics on the Mind, and we all know that we have comics on the mind. But yeah, I'm on Instagram, usually doing stuff. Like I said, I haven't been posting a lot because of the new job, but I will be posting more. So I'm usually posting stuff on there mainly, but I'm trying to work on doing more stuff on YouTube's. But that's me. And hi, Sharon, if you're still here.
Hello, Life with Two YouTubers. Sharon, do check out Rena Brown. She is on Life with Two YouTubers every single Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. This weekend, she will be having 2 shows. So do check out Life with Two YouTubers. Sub her up if you haven't already. That's why I tell y'all to sub up one another in the chat, because this is the comic book community. So let's go over to Miracleman. How about you go ahead and promote yourself? Is there anything that's coming up on your Twitter or anything that you're looking forward to?
So, I don't have anything for myself, but I will promote a couple of things real quick. First things first, go over and check out my buddy Corey. My buddy Corey's comic. It's called Another Day at the Office. You can find him on my Twitter page. I'm going to be posting his order link right at the top of my Twitter. But check him out. His second issue is about to come out. Really cool book. A superhero universe, but told from the perspective of a regular everyday beat cop, and how he has to deal with these superheroes. A lot of fun. Read the first issue, really enjoyed it. Like I said, second one's about to come out now. The other thing I'm going to say is, guys, I know I talked about it a couple times. Rob brought it up. If you're not using CLZ, you are collecting comics back in the Stone Age. It is absolutely a game changer. 20,000 comics in the collection, guys. There's no way I can remember that off the top of my head. I need the help. I also enjoyed, some things in college that many of us enjoy that definitely did not help my memory. So I can't remember my entire collection. I'm telling you guys, go out there, get that app. It's worth the $15 a year. It will make comic collecting better, easier, faster. and you will be able to find the books a lot quicker. Other than that, come on over and see me on Twitter. I'm at Komodo1977. I'm usually talking comics, usually some politics too, but I'm usually talking comics and fighting with chuds. So come on by and say hi.
All right, so tip of the week, and this is from all of us here at Not Near Mint, and this is the Not Near Mint crew. Lady Fantastic left just a short time ago, but we have joining us guest star, Comics on the Mind, Kirk. Thank you so much for joining us this week. And reminder, we do this show every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, New Comic Book Wednesday. So, as we always tell you, smash that like. Sub each other up in the chat. I don't know why none of these banners are coming up. There you go. Smash that like, sub each other up in the chat, subscribe and hit that bell for notifications, and we will be returning next Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you all for joining. My name's Rob Wurst. This is Not Near Mint. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone. Oh, and remember, rule number 1, don't die.
Good rules.
Good night.
Night, everybody.